Hey gang, what's good? It's your guy coming to you live from the 405 where the wind comes whipping down the plain of Oklahoma City. Mr. Fingers coming to you from the patio at Zagnif Central. It is game day and there's a lot of action. There's a lot of teams resting this week, so let's go ahead and get right on into it. First of all, we're going to start talking about HBCU homecoming. It is homecoming season for a lot of historically black colleges and universities. No, most notably here locally, Langston University 4-2 is taking on the Buffaloes of Arkansas Baptist. That game a 2 p.m. kickoff at W.E. Anderson Stadium. Langston heavily favored to win in this one. They also have a concert going on. You want to talk about a throwback? Jagged Edge is going to be performing tonight in Oklahoma City at the Criterion. Yours truly, of course, will not be in attendance, but I'll probably be at home singing "Where the Party At." Girls is on the way, where the Bacardi at. Shouts out to my soul project duet partner, LSOK, Last Son of Krypton, aka Mario Foster, aka Superman, aka Mr. Big Time in softball. Mr. Big Time, slow pitch softball up there in the DC area. Shouts out to you, my brother. Keeping the homecoming flavor moving. We rolling a little farther southeast, down in the low country where Savannah meets the sea. The Tigers of Savannah State are taking on the Tuskegee Golden Tigers now. Savannah State not faring very well after the departure of their former coach Sean Quinn. They're 2-5 this year so far. There's a 2 p.m. kick at Theodore Wright Stadium. The Tuskegee Golden Tigers 5-2, heavily favored, coming to visit. We shall see, but we know. I know how my Savannah State family puts it down. And right now, my partner, my Greek brother, not my fraternity brother, but my Greek brother, Big Mo is out there grilling it up, tailgating right out there by the stadium. There's probably a fish fry or two. I don't know if the step show is taking place yet or not. Sometimes it takes place on Friday. Sometimes it takes place on Saturday. Listen, I'm going to explain something to you. If you have never been to an HBCU homecoming, it is a beautiful spectacle to behold. It is a beautiful spectacle to behold. The entire campus comes alive. All of the people whose lives have been positively affected by the camaraderie, the family, the brotherhood, the sisterhood, they come back to the campus. And they come back to the campus. Actually, Shannon Sharp was trying to get First Take to come down and film an episode during homecoming. That didn't work out. He'll be down there the week of the 6th or the 7th. But still, I'm sad for that. For another year, for the 8th year in a row, I am going to miss homecoming. So, shouts out to my family at Savannah State, my Tiger family. Hashtag you can get anywhere from here. Hashtag where Savannah meets the sea is a beautiful college campus. If you not in the vicinity and you don't feel like making a trip, look it up. It is an absolutely gorgeous college campus. Best wishes and love to my Savannah State family and best wishes to the Savannah State Tigers. Representing my Windsor Forest Knights today. I don't want to cover that up. Y'all don't need to know when I got out of high school. That's all right. I'll embrace it. You know what? And I'm still doing the doggone thing. Don't matter that I graduated multiple decades ago. Unfortunately, the football team fell short this weekend, a 44-0 loss to Pierce County. In fairness, Pierce County is 7-1. What you gonna do? I'm still a Knight for life, baby. Moving on to SEC action. We kick it off with Mississippi State, which will be traveling to Arkansas to take on traveling to Arkansas to take on the Razorbacks. That is an 11 p.m. Central Time kick on ESPN. By the way, all these times are Central Time because that's where I is. That's where I am. 11 a.m. kickoff on ESPN. Will Rogers out, injured his shoulder, so he will be out. Mike Wright will be getting the start. So what it boils down to for Mississippi State, I know the program's been going through a lot in the tragic loss of their beloved coach, Mike Leach. Coach Arnett doing what he can. It was a scenario where I think that they just felt like it would not be appropriate in the loss of a beloved coach to jump out and hire a head coach, so they promoted from within. And Arnett's been doing the best he can, but one thing he definitely did is change the offensive flow and, the air raid offense that was so successful for Mississippi State. Will Rogers is not flinging the ball around the field 40, 50 times a game anymore, and that has been the big difference maker in Mississippi State's performance this year. For Arkansas, what it boils down to is how good is KJ Jefferson going to be? We look for this one to be actually a pretty interesting game. Neither one of these teams are playing for any particular postseason hopes, but still playing for a W. Moving on to our next game, we have number 17 Tennessee at Bryant-Denny Stadium to take on the Alabama Crimson Tide at number 11. Both teams with one loss. Alabama with a non-conference loss to Texas. Tennessee with a SEC East loss to Florida. Both teams playing to keep their playoff hopes alive. Key to that game, quarterback performance and defense. For Alabama, it's quarterback play and defense. If the offensive line can keep Milroe protected enough for him to make plays, I think Alabama comes out with this one as a win. It's really hard to win at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Anyway, for Tennessee, Joe Milton has got to be on his game 100%. There cannot be any oopses. He cannot have an off game. This is the day he cannot have an off game. That a 2:30 p.m. kick on CBS. Moving on to our next game, number 20, Missouri Tigers welcome the Gamecocks of South Carolina. Missouri very much still alive. Playoff hopes still alive. 6-1 in the conference. South Carolina at this point playing for pride. But one thing that we have had a beautiful opportunity to witness this season with South Carolina is the maturation of one Spencer Rattler. Even with the 2-5 record, this guy is out there leaving everything on the field. He's doing everything he can to help his team win. Now, of course, this ain't a knock, Gamecock fans, but it's not working. Beamer ball, hey, moving on. 2:30 p.m. kick on CBS. That's all I've got to say about that one. South Carolina playing for pride. Missouri playing to keep their playoff hopes alive. Brady Cook and Luther Burden, two gentlemen who will definitely be highly sought after commodities when the NFL draft rolls around. I don't know what their eligibility years are, so if they do happen to both be eligible for the draft this year, will both be highly sought after commodities. If not, and they're coming back, then guess what? Missouri, y'all got them for another year. Moving on to the next game, number 13, Ole Miss at 5-1 travels to Jordan Hare to take on the Tigers of Auburn, who have looked hapless at times, who have looked good, who have looked both phenomenal at times and hapless at times, and sometimes in the same game, and sometimes in the same offensive sequence. We know what Ole Miss brings to the table. We know Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin has definitely done his part to keep Ole Miss relevant in the conference. They've only got the one conference loss, with Bama holds the tiebreaker with the 24-10 win earlier in the season. So Ole Miss has definitely got to walk away from this one with a W to stay on pace with Alabama and hope that somebody, hopefully Tennessee today, trips up Alabama. And then in the SEC nightcap of the day, number 19 LSU welcomes the Golden Knights of Army to Tiger Stadium. Much love for my Army brothers, but Army has not been really dominant in a while. Army is Army. Okay, it's not like West Point is getting the best football recruits that are also happen to be eligible to attend West Point, because there are a set of qualifications that you have to meet in order to be able to attend West Point. So I mean, still in incredible athletic shape because of the PT program that they have there, but I just don't see Army being able to pull this off unless Brian Kelly does Brian Kelly things. LSU walks with a win. They are 5-2. They have losses, one conference loss against Ole Miss, but they also have a second loss to Florida State. At this point, they're just kind of playing and hoping that maybe Ole Miss falls short today, and they might be able to snag a share of that second place and maybe sneak in the back door. A lot of teams on bye this week. The Dogs are on bye this week. They travel to Jacksonville next week for the cocktail party against the Gators in a neutral side game. I love that term. You see a lot of Georgia fans talk about the cocktail party being a neutral side game because even though Jacksonville is about 2 hours south of the 2 hours south. I'm sorry. Jacksonville is about an hour south of Savannah. Okay. So it's not, it's like literally right across the state line between Georgia, Florida. But it's still Florida. Now, Georgia travels the Georgia fans travel very, very, very well. You don't believe me? See every time Georgia travels to play Notre Dame and how many red and black jerseys you see in that stadium. Georgia is a team that travels very, very well, but it's still a game played in Florida. But Georgia has the advantage as of late in this particular rivalry game. So we'll talk more about that. I'll break that game down next week. Colin and I will. This week with buys. We got Georgia, we got Florida. Resting up for the cocktail party. We got Vanderbilt has the week off. Kentucky has the week off, and Texas A&M. Next week, we will see them all in action. That's all I've got for you guys today. This one turned out to be a little bit longer than normal, but I wanted to give you the full slate of games today since Georgia's not playing. Give you a little updates on what's going on in your local or not so local HBCUs. Give my Knights a little bit of love. And so anyway, you all, it's beautiful here today. Those of you that are in this area, I hope you are getting out and doing something this weekend because it's absolutely gorgeous. I've got to go put a headlight on my car. You guys have a great weekend. I will talk to you again a little bit later on as the games unfold. Y'all take care. Go Dogs.